What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update for you guys, and I'm sure these updates are going to get bigger and bigger over the next 8 days as the transfer window is counting down to its closure, with a lot of work to do for Tottenham Hotspur, incomings and outgoings. But let's start off with the first update around Matar Sarr. Romano says deal at the final stages for talented midfielder Matar Sarr to Tottenham from Metz. The verbal agreement has been reached between the two clubs, now discussing on Sarr staying on loan at Metz until June 2022. And Ali Gold says before this, he actually said Tottenham are in advanced talks to seal Metz wonderkid Matar Sarr with a loan move back to the French club for a season for the 18-year-old. So it looks as though this is a deal that is going to get over the line. Romano says it remains to be seen if he's going back on loan or not, but Ali Gold says it looks like he is going back on loan.
Yeah, and Romano also said in his article in The Guardian that the fee is set to be around £14 million plus add-ons as well. So not cheap for an 18-year-old, but I think if he's one that we really believe in, it could be a very good deal at the end of the day, long term. And people, as you say, raving about him in Liga. All the top scouts are saying this guy is going to be a real player in the future. And looks like Tottenham are stealing a march on the competition, sending him back on a year loan as well. It's probably a smart thing to do, give him more game time for Metz. And I'm quite excited for him to be part of the team next season if he's going to be there. And although I haven't seen too much of him, from what I'm hearing, he seems to be a player with a lot of potential.
Yeah, I mean, that is the reason why, from what I've been reading anyway, is why we've stolen a march on the top clubs that were in for him, is because they weren't willing to let him go back on loan to Metz for another year when Tottenham were. So Metz were kind of looking for a much higher fee if they were going to get rid of him this summer, but they would have preferred him to come back on loan rather than the higher fee anyway, and that's why Tottenham are kind of at the top of the list at the moment. But it looks as though this is going to get over the line, and yeah, I mean, I didn't know about him last week, but I'm very excited about him now. So let's see what happens with this one, and obviously we'll be keeping a close eye on Metz now to see how he performs. But at 18 years old, week in, week out performer for Metz, so it bodes well. Let's move on to Adama Traore. A couple of updates here. First one from Romano saying Tottenham are preparing an opening bid for Wolves winger Adama Traore. Dan Kilpatrick saying Tottenham Hotspur are preparing Adama Traore bid with Wolves ready to cash in as contract talks drag on. Matt Law has said Tottenham Hotspur are to accelerate talks over Traore. Deal could end up being a loan with a view to permanent move of £40 million. Now the Ali Gold update says Fabio Paratici is also a big fan of Traore and is understood to have offered more than £50 million to Wolves when he was trying to sign him at Juventus. The option mooted within Tottenham Hotspur is that Traore, instead of replacing Son as a winger, it allows Son to move further up the pitch to play alongside Harry Kane. Tottenham are expected to try bring in Traore in the final 8 days of the transfer window. And apparently Nuno Espirito Santo absolutely loves him. I don't think that's any secret, though.
Yeah, but Tim Spires of The Athletic has also been reporting from a Wolves standpoint. He says Wolves won't be forced into selling Adama Traore, and it will take a huge bid to convince him to sell, and no bid has been received yet from Tottenham. So this one is going to rumble on for a few days, I'm guessing. But look, it has been accelerating very quickly as of this morning. You know, we heard rumours last night that Spurs could be interested. All of a sudden we're hearing bids being prepared, and interest is very, very serious. So it looks like this one could be one that we could go over the line between now and the end of the window. Obviously, maybe how he tore us apart yesterday, despite obviously not scoring.
How he constantly tears us apart.
Yeah, maybe that was something to convince us even more. But obviously, Nuno knows him very well. Nuno was in the process of developing him and improving his final end product before COVID and injuries to Jimenez put paid to that, and he had a very poor season in the end last season. But if he can unlock any sort of final product out of Adama Traore, we could potentially have a world-class player in our hands. And as much as he's frustrating and you watch him, you think he does amazing things, then he leaves you wanting more, because he'll he'll dribble past three players and go one-on-one and then put it wide. That's what Adama Traore will do. He'll cut inside, he'll cut past three players on the wing and then miss hit the cross or something. But if he can coach a consistent final product in him, then he's definitely a signing to get excited about. But 40 million could be potentially overpaying for him.
Yeah, potentially. But I think with the pure killer instinct that Son and Kane have, I think that naturally you're going to have to put 2-3 defenders on Traore with a pure beast of a physical specimen that he is, that sure brute strength and physicality that he has. You need to put a lot of defenders on him, which will shore up room for a Harry Kane, for a Heung-min Son to lead the charge. So I think that with Kane and Son on the pitch, I do think that, you know, with better players around him, the end product will improve. And, you know, it's no secret, in that big season he had for Nuno, he had got many assists. So if he gets the same amount of assists in a Spurs shirt with Kane and Son around him, I expect him to get even more than 9 assists.
Yeah, so maybe it's not even his finishing that needs improving. Just make sure you make room for Kane and Son and give them the ball. That's all you need to do.
Exactly.
And he's more than capable of doing that. So maybe Nuno has a plan for him if he does bring him in. And but do you think 40 million? It looks like it could potentially be a loan with an obligation to buy or straight 40 million bid. Is this one right now is a priority for you personally to get over the line?
Me personally, a priority for me is a right back. I want to be looking at a right back right now, with our right back options seemingly not looking great. Probably the weakest spot in the squad right now, with Serge Aurier not getting a look in at the moment. Matt Doherty not even getting a look in really in the Premier League, and Japhet Tanganga looking like our only right back we can trust at the moment. So me personally, I would like to see Aurier and Doherty leave the club with another right back coming in. But if we do go and spend the 40 million on Adama Traore, I'm not going to complain at all. I think I really like that signing. I'll welcome him through the door. It might not be my priority, but I think it could do us the world of good going forward. And I mean, if we had Traore in the last 2 games against Man City and against Wolves, with the kind of counter-attack football that we were displaying, I think he would be invaluable to us. I really do.
Yeah, the thing was Adama, you compare him to other players, there's no one with the physicality probably in world football like Adama has. There's no one as strong and as fast as him. No one in the world. And it's just about unlocking his potential. And he's still, he still hasn't been fully unlocked yet, even now at 25 years of age. Still hasn't. But look, players develop at different ages, and maybe if he comes, he could really explode. You never know. He could really, really explode. This will be the best team he'll have ever been in, best, highest quality players. And maybe, just maybe, if you get him out in the front three with Kane and Son, he could really explode. And you just got to hope for that.
That's the thing. I think he can explode. But even if he doesn't explode, I still think it would be a good signing, just because of what I was saying before about how he can create that space for Kane and Son. And I think, like I said, I think it would be completely invaluable to us. In terms of the transfer fee, 40 million, I think it'd be a fair price for him. I don't think we'd be overpaying at all. I think 40 million for someone of his brute strength and his physicality and his speed, and Premier League experience as well. I think it would be a really good signing for us.
One more question, just before we move on to the next thing. In terms of if we do, as Ali Gold said, sign Traore, have him replace Son as a winger and put Son up more of a striker. If we have our firepower as Bergwijn, Gil, Son, Lucas, Traore, Kane and Son, is that enough firepower for you going into the season?
I think so. I think we're looking good already on the counter-attack, and if we were to bring on a Traore, I think it would make us even better. So I'm excited going into this season now, especially if we get Traore through the door. Look, everyone knows his flaws. Everyone knows where he needs to up his game, Traore. But if anyone can unearth that, that's Nuno, and he's shown that slightly in the past already.
All right.
Let's move on to Harry Kane now. Matt Law is giving us the update, saying Daniel Levy is determined not to be forced into selling Harry Kane to Man City, who are expected to make one last effort to sign Harry Kane, but Levy will not drop his valuation or bow to pressure. Sources believe Levy could even refuse a bid if it gets close to £150 million. With 3 years remaining on a 6-year deal, Harry Kane will be in a better position to try and leave Tottenham next summer, but there are fears that Man City could switch their attentions to Erling Haaland next summer, and that Kane would have missed out on his big move. The Telegraph are backing that up and saying Man City are poised for a final move to sign Harry Kane this week. Man City are set to table another bid that will be close to £150 million.
I think they've screwed this up, City.
Big
They've
time.
screwed
Big
up this
time.
deal.
Big time.
Because I think there's not. Why would we sell so late in the window? Why should Levy be forced to sell so late in the window? He was never going to drop his price. It was obvious. I don't know what City were hoping for. That they're going to get Levy to drop his price. Like, do they know who they're dealing with? Seriously, it's a joke. And you know what? I'm actually annoyed because they've pretty much unsettled Kane throughout this whole summer. They've, all the players, Walker and Grealish and whatever, all in his ear telling, put up a stink and, get him to drop his price and everything and you'll come to be with us. And, Man City, I feel like, have bungled this whole deal. And now it's got to a stage where even if they stump up the cash, they're not going to bring him through the door. And they've completely screwed this up. They've completely screwed up this deal. I would say, if I was leaving, I would say no. Whatever the deal was at the moment, I would say no. Unless it's something like incredible, like 150 million plus a player potentially. Like, unless it's something like that, you can't go ahead with it right now because it leaves Tottenham in a position where we could be very much struggling big time if Kane leaves at this point with no replacement.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've said it not all along, but I've said it for the past at least week or 10 days that it's got too late now. Harry Kane, there's no chance of him leaving the club, and I firmly believe that. And I think him stepping out onto the pitch yesterday against Wolves and putting in a good display, I think backed that up as well.
Yeah. So get stuffed, man.
Exactly. Let's move on to the last couple of updates. This is on Yassine Adli. And Foot Mercato is saying that in case of the departure of Tanguy Ndombele, Yassine Adli is one of the options that Tottenham Hotspur are considering. Do you know much about him?
No, I don't know
anything about him.
I know he's a creative midfielder for Bordeaux, am I right in saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. He's a quite young player, but I can't profess to have seen him play too much, so I don't really know.
And on Tanguy Ndombele, Julian Maynard says Tottenham are in talks with many clubs for Ndombele. The player is interested in 2 clubs, and the most serious offer comes from a Spanish club. And people are making rumours, adding 2 plus 2 and making 10 from that, saying it's Sevilla, because Sevilla are like the only club with a bit of money at the moment in Spain.
Well, I don't know who reported, I read that the only serious interest has come from Bayern Munich.
Well, Bayern Munich are one of the clubs as well.
Yeah, apparently, I can't remember who said that the only serious interest has come from Bayern Munich. Anyway, sounds like we're kind of shipping him or seeing of what we can get for him at the moment, seeing if anyone's interested to stump up any cash. Doesn't seem like we're getting much joy in terms of offers too much right now, in terms of offers willing to accept. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. Looks like he wants to leave. Looks like we're willing to grant him his wish if we can get a buyer. But it's whether we can get the deal that works for everyone. And with this late in the window, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it will be a hard one to take, seeing Tanguy leave, seeing as we all know what kind of ability he has. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And if he wants to go and we're happy for him to go, then so be it. We don't have time to wait around anymore. We've waited around for him for 2 years now. And look, if someone comes in with him with a good offer and he goes, then I wish him all the best. But that is our Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.